Welcome, everybody, to this new episode of Spanish Loops. Hola, Jorge.
Hola, Fran. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Not bad, thank you. I'm a little bit nervous about what we're going to talk about today. But what about if we play some music first and let the audience in tension like a cliffhanger?
Ooh. Let's get some
Ooh.
music.
Okay, let's go for it.
So, you're all stressed today for our talk? What are we going to be talking today, Jorge?
No, I'm not stressed, but it is something that it could sound a little bit posh. Um, we're going to talk about nobility titles, difference in between the difference is Duke, Marqués, all those kind of things that might sound very flamboyant and, outdated thing. But I do believe that for those countries that still have a monarchy, they represent for them a kind of
For
a good
us?
value. For what?
For us, we're Spanish. We're a monarchy. We do have novelty.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that we are a monarchy, but it's a constitutional monarchy. So the monarchy per se doesn't have a lot of power at all in the Spanish political system. Don't you agree with me in that?
Yeah, I mean, they do not, but we do have all this hierarchy of
Yeah,
royalty, novelty. First, let's make a little difference. We're not going to be talking about royalty. Royalty are kings, queens, princes, and princesses. That's it.
that's it.
And from there down is where we have the novelty, right?
Correct. That's
Where
right.
you say that we have the dukes, counts, all of those things.
Hmm.
So, Jorge, let's let's get some background here. Let's start from the very beginning. When do we start having all of these novelty titles? Where do they come from? What are they?
Well, I mean, we have here in Europe, we have such a hierarchy about that. If you ever watch any period drama or read about European history, chances are that you've come across fancy titles like dukes, marquis, count. Spain, with its rich and layered past, we have one of the most complexest nobility, sorry, nobility systems in the world. But where these titles come from, and what do they mean today? Well, would you mind if we go in kind of a chronological way?
Perfecto to me.
Okay. Well, it comes from the medieval. It has medieval roots, and let's say that the system dates back to I would say, early Middle Ages, when the kings and rulers needed loyal allies to help defend their territories and govern newly conquered lands. So badly called Reconquista, to me, badly called, is that long period during, the Christian kingdoms reclaimed the Iberian Peninsula from Muslim rule. They played a major role in shaping Spanish nobility. The monarchs at the time granted noble titles to reward knights, warlords, and other powerful figures who contributed to the fight. These titles often came with land, privileges, and, believe it or not, political influence. Something very
Okay.
important to keep in mind, Francisco, sorry to interrupt you, is that over time the system became more structured. By the time Spain was unified under the Catholic monarchs, remember, not Spain yet, it was the Castilian crown,
Okay.
okay? Queen Isabella from Castilla and King Ferdinand from Aragon, the nobility titles has kind of solidified into a very strict and rigid hierarchy. These titles, they were not just honorary, they came with real power, wealth, and responsibilities.
Okay. So if we go up into the pyramid of who is most important, I'm not an expert in these things, but I would say the highest honor is to become a duke.
Well, let's walk through that kind of pyramid hierarchy, however you want to call it, okay? Okay, the most important noble titles in Spain. Believe it or not, um, you just mentioned something very curious, which is the king and the princess is as part of the royalty, but actually, the king is the top of the list of the nobility titles, just because
Okay.
he's the one who gives those titles to the people who maybe deserve them or want them or even buying them.
Oh, you can buy a novelty
Oh, we
title?
talk about that later on.
Oh,
Okay.
I need to know that. Okay, I'll keep that in my mind. I need to know if I can buy. I can be Duke Francisco.
Okay, so well, as I said, technically it's not a noble title, but it's at the top of the hierarchy. Spain, as I said a few minutes ago, is a constitutional monarchy, meaning that the king is the head of a state. Through his power is the most symbolic and diplomatic part of everything. The current monarch, King Philip VI, represents the unity of Spain, but he doesn't grant new noble titles as frequently as past rulers. Okay, but
Okay,
let me insist: we are a monarchy. Yes, I know you love the monarchy.
we
I know
do.
that.
Totally pro
But
monarchy.
let's be honest about it. Monarchy plays a very symbolic role. It's just a state figure. All right.
Yeah,
Okay. Which is the one that you said is the most important before?
I would say it's the Duke and
Correct.
Duchess.
That is the second on the line. Okay.
Okay,
Duke or Duchess. The title of Duke is the highest rank in Spanish nobility, second only to the royal family. And the dukes historically governed large regions and held significant political power. Some of the most famous Spanish dukedoms include the Duke of Alba, which we have a podcast included in our series, and also the Duke of Medinaceli. Families that have played key roles in Spanish history. Even today, these names carry weight in the high society. Okay.
okay. So you want to aim to be a Duke. That
Oh,
was, and it still is the thing.
that is the thing.
The
That's
thing.
right. Yeah. I mean, you are the Duke of Alba and you are, oh, whoa.
Yeah, but okay. So when you get the title of a Duke, you get un ducado. That's how we say in Spanish, which is a lot. It was a piece of land
Well,
back in the
it could be a
days.
piece of land, could be several pieces of land, and also in the old days, political power as well. So
Okay.
it could be like a, how can I compare it with today political status? Like a kind of governor, if you want to call
Okay.
it like that, right?
Okay.
Just in always in the orders of the king, which is the one above you.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
right under the Duke
yeah, we have a
is
marquis or
Count. Oh,
marquise. Okay.
Marquis is
Yeah. So
okay.
that is right below the dukes. And this title originated as a military designation. That is very curious. Marquises were responsible for guarding the borderlands. Because of their military importance, they often had more autonomy than counts. That is the one below. Over time, marquises became some of the wealthiest nobles, controlling vast lands and wielding influence in Spanish politics.
Okay. So the Marquis has a military heritage.
Correct. Yeah, is given. It what used to be given by the monarch in those times where they were mainly to military, but they had to be in to get in possession of that title. You have to have done very important battles, and of course, winning them just to get that because you have contributed to the wealth of the monarchy at the time. Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Duke, Marquis, Count.
Now is the moment of the count. Okay.
Okay.
Count or countess.
Okay.
Counts were powerful nobles who managed territories on behalf of the king. This is a kind of a more governor, okay, but maybe in a lesser status because the lands that they used to own or rule, they were smaller or maybe not as important as the dukes ones. Okay, and they were not as autonomous as the marquises. They still had substantial land and control. One of the most famous counts in Spain, well, in Spanish history, I better say, is a character that we have a podcast made of, and is El Cid.
Con, Conde
Rodrigo
de Díaz de
Digo
Vivar.
Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar. Okay, and we all know he was a legendary warrior who granted lands and power as a count. So he was actually a count.
Let's
Okay.
go.
Yep.
Okay, from here, sorry, but I think that's just the three hierarchy. There's no more. Is there any more?
Oh
Do we have
yeah.
any more? Oh,
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
do?
Yeah. We do. Yeah. We
What do
do.
we have?
Viscount.
Oh, Vizconde. Okay.
That's
Okay,
right.
that's half a count.
Uh, well, actually, the viscounts were essentially what's the word I want to use now? Deputies of counts, acting as a second in command in governing territories. Okay? While their influence was significant in medieval times, the role diminished over the centuries. Today, the title of viscount is more an honorary distinction than a position of power.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's it.
No, there are more.
Oh gosh. Okay, go ahead. What else do we have? And I am none of the above. It's like, come on.
Okay, you're gonna guess it by yourself, Francisco. Name by importance or by order the three main museums of Madrid
It's El Prado, Queen Sofia, and Thyssen-Bornemisza.
who belonged to the collection to the
Barón Thyssen.
Baron von Tyson, right?
Okay.
So it's Baron, Baron, and it's spelled
Okay.
the same in English and Spanish. A baron was a low-ranking noble who always been controlled or been controlling smaller estates compared to counts and marquises. Many baronies existed in Catalonia and Aragon. They were feudal structures with more prevalent. That they were more prevalent. Unlike higher titles, baronies often did not pass down as consistently through generations. So that title could be inherited, okay, but uh, only if you claim it.
Okay. So you
Yeah.
have to ask for it. Hey, my dad was a Baron.
That's
I
correct.
want
And
to.
then it has to be the king who decides, okay, you can inherit that.
You keep it. Okay, so that's it. We have Duke.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Gosh, we have more?
Yep.
Okay, what else do we have?
Okay. In Spanish language, we have a word that we use it in a very common way, which is "Hey, sir" or "Hey, mister." You know, "Sir" in the UK status of hierarchy is a nobility title. Here in Spain, we have the word "señor," but you refer and you say the word "señor." Some people might say, "Oh, señor is the Lord, our Lord." Yes, is that, but also is just imagine that you and I we have never met before, and we cross the street. I need to know the time, and I say to you, "Señor, please, can you tell me the hour?" It's a very well educated and old mannered way to address to somebody that you don't know. Señor to a man, señora to a woman. But that word also is used for another nobility title, which is the lower in the all this hierarchy we're talking about. Okay. So this is at the bottom of the traditional nobility system and was a title of Señor, which simply means Lord, as I just
Okay,
said.
so it's Lord and Lady.
Is not as prestigious as Duke or Count. Being a Lord, I mean, being named a Lord, still mm, meant in the old days. I was going to use means, but no, because it was in the
Right.
past. No, it meant having influence over land and people. But this time, particularly in rural areas, isolated places.
Okay,
Okay.
so now let's try to make an analogy to try to understand all of this.
Yeah.
We could say that let's compare it to the United States. Okay, let's make this difficult.
Hmm.
Let's see if it works.
Oh, wow.
Maybe I'm putting
I wasn't
myself in
expecting
trouble.
that. I wasn't
Okay,
expecting
so
that.
the king is going to be the president of the United States.
Hmm.
Okay, the duke would be the governor of a state, or
Yeah,
be
I guess
more.
so.
Okay, then
Yeah.
we have the marquis, who would be the ruler of a county?
Is such a thing in the States? To be honest, I have no idea.
I I think there is a county because I think it's county elections.
Okay, perfect. So
Oh,
please forgive my ignorance
okay, yeah,
about
me too,
thing.
mine too. So,
Yeah.
but then that's the Marquis. Then the count is going to be the mayor of a city.
Mm.
Hierarchy, let's put it that way. And then
Yeah.
who else we have down there?
The
Uh,
sheriff, maybe?
sure. Okay, forget it. I'm putting myself in too much trouble.
Yeah, I think you are.
No, 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 no. Okay, so yeah, you can be all the way from Duke to Lord to
Yeah.
Señor.
Hmm.
And you said before that it is passed by bloodline, except the Lord title that the king has to
Hmm.
reinforce against with you
And the Baron as well.
and the Baron. Okay, Baron and Señor, Baron and
Hmm.
Señor have to be
I
uh,
mean, yeah, I mean, if you are a baron or a señor or señora or baroness or
mhm,
baronesa in Spanish, you can state in your will that you want the title to be passed on to your descendants, whoever. I mean, doesn't have to be the first on the on the line, um, but it has to be approved by the king, who is the one who designates.
okay, but at the very beginning, you said that you might be able to buy one of these titles.
Yeah.
Okay,
To say that,
how to whom I have to pay and how much?
okay, I'm the one that now I think I got into trouble here. Oh, well. Okay. Well, I think that just to get to that point, I need to explain something, Francisco, which is this the value in modern days today of this kind of at least Spanish nobility titles. Okay. They just hold mostly a symbolic and historical value, nothing else than that. And in Spain's democratic constitution that was established in the year 1978, removed the political privileges of the nobility, but it did not abolish noble titles. Okay? So instead, they are preserved as part of the country's cultural heritage.
Okay.
Many families, noble families, still take pride in their history, and some continue to play prominent role in businesses, politics, and high society. For example, I mean, the House of Alba remains one of the wealthiest and most famous noble families in Spain, and the legacy dates back into centuries. Okay,
Youngs.
it's just amazing. Saying that, having a noble title doesn't necessarily mean living in castles or attending royal galas. Ooh. Many titled nobles just live regular lives, working as lawyers, professors, or even entrepreneurs. Some historical titles has been sold, inherited by distant relatives, or even claimed by people proving descent from long lost noble ancestors. So there is a
Mm,
research behind that. Now, how are those titles passed down? Traditionally, it follows a system of primogeny. I mean, the very first on the line, okay,
okay.
traditionally, okay, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. However, the law, not the law, a law was passed in 2006, if I'm wrong, if I'm right, correct, that allows women to inherit the titles on equal terms with men, ending, centuries of male-only succession. That was something that, the times changed, and now women also can um, inherit. Before, in the old days, if Duquess was a Duquess, it was because it was named directly or titled directly by the king at the time, not because of inheritance.
Okay.
Do,
Okay.
do, I mean, did I explain myself correct here?
Yeah, and I assume that like in royalty in Spain, we don't have Salic law. We can have duchess and marquises, but we have supremacy of male over women.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily,
Not
because the
necessarily because
Duchess of
that
Alba we have had many Duchesses of Alba.
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's you just answer yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so another thing that I need to say here is that the titles can also be granted by the king, and this is very rare today. In special cases, titles have been given to artists uh,
Okay.
for contribution to arts, scientists, maybe cultural figures. Remember, that's our Nobel Prize, Camilo José Cela, the writer. He passed away a few years ago. He was named Marquis of Iria Flavia for his literary contributions. Okay,
Okay.
right. Now, here we come to your curiosity. Don't
Mm,
forget that curiosity killed the cat. Okay.
damn.
So, can you buy a title? Can you claim a title?
Can I?
In, in some cases, yes. Novel titles are normally, as I said many times now, usually inherited. There have been instances where people have legally reclaimed long lost titles by providing their lineage. Others have purchased estates associated with noble titles, though this doesn't always come with normal recognition of nobility. So if you buy a piece of land that belonged to a count or a lord or a señor, that no one has claimed that title, they let's say that have passed away without any descendants, and you are buying that plot of land that belonged to the county of whatever, you can claim that, but it's not very well accepted among those who has inherited because of lineage.
Okay.
But technically, you can buy it. Technically.
Okay, so I will wait to see if the King of Spain wants to do Lord Alpha Tour Guide.
Hmm.
Maybe tour guiding is going to be the name. Lord of Pamplona. Okay,
Uh,
so really the hierarchy in novelty titles is huge. And as you said,
it's
it's
great.
not
Yeah.
mm, doesn't bring you now anymore land and possessions, blah, 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 blah.
No, no. As long as you
Really,
are, unless you are a very wealth from a wealthy family from centuries ago, like the
yeah,
Alba
Albas or
family, and also the Medina Celi,
yeah,
Duke of Medina Celi. That's still that 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 Duke still sits today. Okay,
yeah.
and it's very important in the Spanish hierarchy. Unless that's, I mean, that means that you have business established, that you have landlords, and you are renting the lands to be farmed, or things like
Okay,
that.
but let's let's be real.
Yeah,
Or royal. No, let's be real. Uh,
let's be royal. Oh
let's
yeah.
be royal. No, let's be real. The King of Spain,
Yeah.
obviously the novelty, they support the royal family.
You
And
mean economically?
no,
No,
no, no, no, no.
no.
Support, they are pro
They are
the royal
pro
family,
monarchy. Yeah,
pro monarchy.
yeah.
And many times through history, especially through recent history, all of these big titles, Duke, Count, Viscount, all of these things, meant that they had money, meant that the kids they had very good education,
Hmm.
which means that a lot of the asesores, how do you say asesores? English,
Assistants.
not assessors, people who you talk to in
Yeah.
privacy and they support you and they teach,
Hmm.
they have been very close friends of the royal family,
Hmm.
personal friends, because they are, assistant. Use the word assistants. I mean, if the king needs to ask, uh, the king cannot do anything, but he wants to learn about what's going on in Spain. If he needs to know about something law related, he's going to talk with a duke that is a lawyer and probably has had the best education. Probably he's a judge.
You have just said the wrong example in this game because our king is a lawyer.
Okay, but you know what I mean. I mean, they have the
Yes, you're right.
the,
You're right.
the royals,
I was just kidding.
their group of
Yeah.
friends. They are
Yeah.
many cases. They are
Yeah.
these novelty people
Yeah.
because right now we can all access higher education.
Yeah.
But until 50 years ago, people could not go to
At
college.
least in Spain. At least
In
in
Spain, we're
Spain.
talking Spain, we're talking
Yeah.
Spain.
Yeah.
People could not go to college. So
Yeah.
only the wealthy, only the people who had money, meaning a lot of these people, they
Yeah.
had a lot of money, they could send their kids to study.
Well,
And they
now,
became,
now that you said that, Francisco, let me say this. It's got nothing to do with the podcast today. You know, the big engineers in Germany, Switzerland, and France today, 50% of them are the kids of that generation of Spaniards that emigrated in the 50s and 60s to those countries, and they could give them education in those countries, and they are nationals from those countries. Can you believe that? And in Spain, we were lacking of
yeah,
them.
we were in a dictatorship. And
Yeah.
one of the things a dictator wants to do is control education. I mean, the
Yeah.
moment a dictator, anybody wants to control education,
Sure.
because if you control education or miseducation,
Yeah.
you can do a great
Yeah.
job
That's
brainwashing
true.
people.
That's
So
true.
that's what a dictator does. That's what Franco
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So only these very high-end people got good education. They were studied in Harvard, in Yale, in Cambridge, all of these places, and they all became friends. And they
Yeah.
all,
I mean, they're part of like a big family that
yeah,
they know of each other, and it's not that they don't necessarily have to have a very close contact in an everyday basis, but if there is some kind of a, I mean, what's the name of that club for very selected people that is worldwide, and they meet in some
oh, the
top top ho class hotel somewhere. Oh, I forgot that the name of that club. Anyway,
well,
you know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
it's the VIPs of the world.
Yeah, the VIPs of the world. That's right. So I guess that among them there is a way of communication. If there is a summit somewhere, it's not publicized at all. We don't have a clue if they meet, if they don't. We just assume that it happens. It's like, I mean, when you are related to people of your own social status, you just gather together now and again, right? So
Tour
I guess,
guides, we mingle together.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
So novelty, they mingle
Tour
together.
guys, we do act exactly the same as nobility
So,
people.
I mean, we don't tell everybody that we're together. No, but that's it. So, hey, Jorge, I when we were preparing this podcast, I was okay. Duke, Count, pretty much the Marquis. That's all we need. There's a lot of things, so I can aspire to be something. So I've learned so much on this
Francisco,
podcast.
would you allow me to say a final thought here?
Okay, shoot.
Okay. Okay. um, and this is personal, okay?
Okay,
And I have, okay, I don't want to feel anybody being offensed by my words here. But, you know, those days of noble warriors and feudal lords ruling Spain are long gone.
long gone.
Not only in Spain, but I think that all
The
over.
world.
And in this case, Spanish nobility remains as a fascinating part of the country's culture and history. The titles might no longer come with political power, but they still carry an air of prestige and kind of tradition. Whether you are a history, uh, nerd, or if you're a fan of any culture in general, or if you are just curious about this aristocratic world, um, I think that the story of, because it's so complex, the Spanish nobility, uh, I do believe seriously that is extremely rich testament of our country's history. Don't you think?
Yes. I mean, as you said, we don't need them because they don't have any job, political
Hmm.
job or anything. But I think we need them as heritage, as
Yeah.
part of our legacy from the past.
That's
Do
right.
they mean anything? No. Do they make a lot of money? Some of them, yes.
And some of
But
them are just regular people
normal
that don't care
commoners,
about
I
it.
mean, they have a title. I mean,
Yeah.
I know a countess, and
Do
she's a tour guide.
do.
She's a tour guide, local guide here in Pamplona.
No
And she's
way.
like, hmm
Seriously.
yeah, she's a countess, and she guides him. Well, she's a super normal. It's not. She always says it's not me. It's my husband's. So it was I'm the countess. I'm the wife of. But
All
she says, when I
right.
have to dress up and go to a wedding or something, I dress up and I pretend to be something that I'm not. Well,
Pretend to be something I'm not. I love
but
it.
the thing is that she said, when I got married at the beginning, it's like, I'm nothing. I'm just a normal person. And
Yeah.
suddenly I need to learn how to bow in front of a queen or in front of a count or in front of a, and she said, and I had to memorize, this is a duke, this is a count, this is a marquis, this you have to approach as your royal highness, this one as your happy highness.
Yeah.
All of these stupid things. So really, we have from the very top ones to super, super normal people.
That's true. Yeah, I
I don't
agree.
know to tell
I
you.
agree. Mhm.
But guess
Well,
what? If
that's everything I
someday,
had to say about it.
I have one more thing. If one day, Jorge,
Yeah.
I stop talking to you, and if I look at you in the street and spit you down, it's because I got a title.
Okay. So I'll get the spit and send it on eBay. I will sell it on eBay.
No, I would never do that. I don't think I'll ever get a title, but hey, who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Or vice versa. If I am playing with you, now you know.
Anyway,
Well,
so thank you, Jorge, for such a beautiful presentation today about counts and dukes and marquises. And to our listeners, if you have enjoyed this podcast, hey, would be amazing if you give us a thumb up.
hmm
And if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel or Spotify or Amazon or whatever you're listening to us today, that would be amazing. Thank you very, very much.
hmm
We
Thank you.
love you all.
On my name as well, Francisco, I just want to thank everybody and you as well for listening and being so funny today. I mean, you are funny all the time, but today you got yourself into trouble just comparing the social
It's like,
status.
okay, no, compared to the United States. There's no royalty there. Forget that
But
part.
anyway, as Francisco said, thank you everybody for your loyalty and loyalty. Whoa.
Ooh, loyalty, royalty. Yay!
Yeah. And we hope to see you here back next week. Okay. Don't forget, Francisco's website is travelingstep.es. Mine is travelingwithjorge.com. Thank you, chicos. We love you all. And bye bye.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.
And as usual, we want to thank all our listeners for being there every week, letting us sharing our talks. Follow us in Spanish Loops in Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or your favorite platform.
And in Instagram, you can find us as the Spanish Loops Podcast. No spaces, all together. If you want to find us the quickest way, just Google Spanish Loops Podcast and you will find us. Hasta la vista, amigos.
See you next week.